Good morning. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm grateful for the good life we are provided for here as we gather on Treaty 6 territory. I want to acknowledge the many nations that were signatories to Treaty 6 and the Métis people who share a deep connection with this land. I'm Kasawski. I'm the Alberta NDP Municipal Affairs Critic for mid-sized cities and rural Alberta. I'm joined by Sarah Hoffman, Deputy Leader and Municipal Affairs Critic for Edmonton and Calgary. It's been 2 weeks since the UCP shut down debate and pushed through its flawed legislation that will enable them to take control of Albertans' pensions. The UCP's ongoing scheme to pull Albertans unwillingly out of the Canada Pension Plan has been deeply flawed, and they have been dishonest with Albertans. They told Albertans during the election that they would not take our pensions. Then they released a survey in the summer asking Albertans how they should invest our pension money after they pull us out of the Canada Pension Plan. They have never even asked Albertans whether or not we want to leave the Canada Pension Plan. The United Conservative Party has now spent over $7.5 million of government money to try and sell and market to us this sham of a plan, but Albertans know better and aren't buying it. The government's rinse and soak consultation focused on screened telephone calls, where those who voiced their opposition to the UCP plan were actually yelled at by the panel chair. They've done almost everything in their power to avoid meeting with Albertans face-to-face about this important issue, including the release of a long and confusing workbook Albertans can complete for homework. A couple of UCP MLAs have finally met in public at town halls with their constituents about pension plans. Those meetings ended up revealing even more shocking information about the government's intention to arm-twist Albertans out of our retirement security. The Alberta NDP has taken a different approach. We are focused on the priorities that matter most to Albertans, and we care about what you think. We have hosted an online survey that has received over 40,000 unique responses so far, and our in-person town halls have been packed with hundreds of people in attendance each time. We have welcomed people with all perspectives and viewpoints on this issue. The overwhelming majority of responses make it clear that Albertans oppose leaving the Canada Pension Plan. Albertans are going to extreme lengths to try and be heard, with thousands emailing the Premier's office and others even mailing back the government's marketing brochures with messages of opposition to the UCP pension scheme. Albertans aren't going to give up, and neither are we. We will continue to advocate for your needs and make sure the government is acting in your best interest. Albertans deserve better, and you deserve a government you can trust. To speak more about this, I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Thanks, Kyle. And you're right, Kyle. The Alberta NDP has been consulting with Albertans across the province throughout our online survey, as well as in-person town halls. And the message has been clear. Albertans want the UCP to keep their hands off their CPP. The Finance Minister and their panel chair recently announced that they are going to pause their consultation because they're waiting for concrete numbers from the Chief Actuary. This is a clear admission that the UCP plan isn't viable and that it's being built on imaginary math. This comes after the UCP has already spent $7.5 million of our public dollars trying to convince each other that their pension scheme is the right way to move forward. While their multi-million-dollar ad campaign is a desperate attempt to sway public opinion, it's ignoring the obvious. Albertans aren't easily fooled. This government knows that Albertans don't trust them. The recent comments from the UCP MLA, Shane Getson, further expose this government's reckless attitude towards this critical issue, financial security for Alberta seniors. It's alarming to see how determined they are to gamble with Albertans' pensions, ignoring widespread opposition and expert advice. The Alberta NDP is committed to making sure that this does not happen. We've seen great success with our town halls so far. We've been in packed rooms in Edmonton, Calgary, Ardrossan, Red Deer, and St. Albert. And in the new year, we'll continue to give Albertans an opportunity to ensure that their voices are heard. So we'll be in Northwest Calgary on January 23rd, Edmonton and Lethbridge on January 30th, Medicine Hat on January 31st, High River on February 1st, Drumheller on February 9th, and we'll have 2 more in Calgary on February 11th and 24th. We believe that every Albertan should be given the chance to be heard, regardless of whether you're represented by an Alberta NDP MLA or a UCP MLA. Many of the residents in these ridings have already reached out to us through our online survey and through email, and we look forward to consulting with them more in person. These events are crucial for us to continue our dialogue with Albertans and to advocate for their best interests. And it's not too late for Danielle Smith or Nate Horner to start listening. We invite them to attend any one of the town halls that we're organizing in the new year. And we thank you for being here today and welcome your questions.
Thank you. Just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, it's the raise hand function. If you're on the phone, it's *9. We'll start with questions in the room. Seeing none, we'll go to the phones. And just a reminder, yep. David, just state who you'd like to address your question to, please.
Good calling. I'd like to speak to Ms. Hoffman. I was just wondering, you remember the UCP breakdown when it was provided? It was, I think, 50% were against it, and they needed more info. Can you provide maybe a breakdown of what the numbers are from what you took out of your town halls, please?
Yeah, Kyle and I did one together in Ardrossan with Heather Sweet, and I've also been at ones in Edmonton and in Calgary. And one of the first questions we ask, because the UCP isn't asking it and people want a chance to actually answer it, is how many of you want to stay in the CPP? And between 90 and 95% of the people in the room put their hands up when we ask that question. And then we ask how many of you are open to the idea and want more information about an APP. And a few put their hands up, and then we ask how many of you want to actually leave the CPP and be in an Alberta pension plan. And I'd say, yeah, it's somewhere between, it's around 10% of the room that thinks there's something wrong with the CPP, is open to considering leaving, but the vast majority want to make sure that their retirement securities are intact and secure.
Is that, yes, is that response pretty universal across all the town halls from rural Alberta to more urban areas?
Yeah, Ardrossan, I would say, was about 90%, maybe 95% who put their hands up for staying in the CPP. And St. Albert, I think, was very similar. St. Albert is, suburban, but not in Edmonton or Calgary. And the other ones I attended were in Edmonton and Calgary.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, and then we'll just do one more quick pass for questions. So, just a reminder, if you're on Zoom, it's raise hand, and if you're on the phone, it's *9. Seeing none, that concludes our press conference for today.